Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Last night we had a fun conversation. We had Tennessee defensive back Colton Hood on the channel. We talked about Coach Prime. We talked about the culture. We talked about the difference between Boulder, Colorado, and Knoxville, Tennessee. More importantly, we got to know the young man off the field. Great conversation. Seems to be a trend with every kid that Josh Heupel is recruiting. They all come in. They've got great character. They're well-spoken. They're kind. They're respectful. He is changing the game in Knoxville, Tennessee. But while we were live last night with Colton Hood, this news broke on Twitter. On 3, wide receiver Tyron Evans decommits from Tennessee. Now, I've seen a narrative out there. I've seen a lot of talk, a lot of buzz on Twitter. Some people believe, well, this is just the writing on the wall. I think this means that 5-star wide receiver Tristan Keys is ours. I don't know if I necessarily believe that. We're going to talk about Tristan Keys coming up here in just a second, but let's take a look at the article again. On 300 wide receiver Tyron Evans decommits from Tennessee. It says 4-star wide receiver Tyron Evans has decommitted. He announced on Wednesday night. Evans has been committed to the Volunteers since January, when he chose them over offers from NC State, South Carolina, USF, and a host of other schools. Now, if I'm being honest, if I'm being transparent, what I see here is a kid whose stock is kind of starting to rise. Again, look at the teams that Tyron Evans committed over: NC State, South Carolina, USF. I'm not seeing a lot of big heavy hitters there. And if you remember, if you rewind time, if you go back and you take a look at it, I seem to remember a lot of 3-star U comments when Tyron Evans committed to Tennessee. The On3 industry rankings have him as a 3-star prospect. He's ranked 540th nationally. Now, On3 specifically, On3 individually has him ranked as a 4-star and inside the top 200. So On3 a lot higher on Tyron Evans than maybe 247 Sports, ESPN, and Rivals.com, who all have him as a 3-star. So maybe this is a case where, hey, Tennessee nailed the evaluation. Tyron Evans saw his stock start to rise, and then who comes calling? Well, let's take a look here. He says, after a lot of thought and prayer, I've decided to decommit from the University of Tennessee. Thank you to Coach Heupel, Coach Kelsey Pope, Coach Halsley, and the entire Vols staff for believing in me. I appreciate everything you've done for me and my family. Here's where we start to see the writing on the wall. Evans is fresh off of official visits to Miami, NC State, Kentucky in successive weeks, and chose to reopen his recruitment for his scheduled trip back to Knoxville. The Hurricanes, in particular, have made a big move in his recruitment coming off the recent trip to Coral Gables. Here's the quote from Evans. Says, I feel pretty good. I love the school. It's a lot to take in. It's one of my top schools. Well, after this, the news comes out, and here come all the crystal ball predictions. It looks like Tyron Evans is packing up and heading off to Miami. We'll see what happens there. Best of luck to him in the future, but he has decommitted from Tennessee. So where do the Vols go from here in this class of 26 at the wide receiver position? We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it, but as always, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff for me. Smash the thumbs up down there below the video. It helps the channel. I would appreciate it. If it's your first time here on the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts or insiders. What we are is exactly what you guys are. This channel is for the fans, by the fans. If you like it, subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. We're going to be live Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We talk all things Tennessee football, but we also play a little EA Sports, college football, laid-back, fun hangout stream. Next Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, big Anthony Aguimura is going to be in the house for another interview. I encourage you, please show up, show out, show love to these kids who are sacrificing their time to come on and let you get to know them behind the scenes. That's what it's all about. It's always a good time. So where does Tennessee go from here? Tyron Evans decommits, and I think most of you guys know the answer. We're going to go take a look at Brian Staley's tweet. Shout out, Brian, if you're listening. He says, hey, Bray Staley, bring them home. Man, you see the picture on the screen. You got Braylon Staley there. You've got Faison Brandon. And you got a couple of guys that we've been talking about here recently. You've got Legend Bay, a 4-star athlete. And then, of course, you've got 5-star wide receiver, the number 1 ranked wide receiver in the country in Tristan Keys. Can Tennessee bring both of these guys in? And if you look at the class of 26 for the Vols, they've already got a pretty highly ranked wide receiver committed that we really don't talk enough about, and that's Tyreek King, right? Tyreek King's already committed. Tyreek King's already in the boat. He's a 4-star prospect, ranked 121st nationally. That's a blue chipper already in the boat. So who can you add with Tyreek King to fill out this class of 26 with some solid wide receivers? And I think Legend Bay and Tristan Keys would be huge for Tennessee. Legend Bay, we talked about him just yesterday, so I won't go too much into it. But he's a four-star athlete, 5'9", 170 pounds, out of Forney, Texas. Dropped his top 5 of Duke, Ohio State, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and West Virginia. He's got that speed, 10-2 in the 100 meters. He's a true athlete. He can play defensive back. Duke's recruiting him to play quarterback. Tennessee is still recruiting him at that wide receiver position, and Tennessee kind of late to the game here. Right, he took his official visit last weekend, brought the entire family with him, loved everything about the visit. It was his first time to Knoxville. Why? He wasn't sure if he was sold on just playing wide receiver, and that's what Tennessee is recruiting him to do. So now it kind of comes down to Tennessee and Texas A&M, and Matt Ray said after the visit, the Vols left the weekend in an excellent spot. But he still has that official visit to Texas A&M coming up, and then he'll make his final decision on June the 28th. We will most likely be streaming that live on the channel, so stay tuned in, dialed in for that. But what about Tristan Keys, who is also in this picture? Can Tennessee flip the 5-star, the number 1 ranked wide receiver in the country, committed to LSU on March the 19th? I feel like at that time, I don't think he was 100% comfortable with that decision. Why did he pull the trigger? There's a lot of talk out there about LSU and other schools too, paying kids to commit, paying kids on a monthly basis to keep that commitment. Where is Tristan Keys at? How important is NIL to Tristan Keys? I've seen a lot of experts and a lot of insiders here within the last few weeks really start to push the narrative that Tennessee has a realistic shot. What changed? What's different? Going into the visit, Ryan Callahan of 247 Sports said that his sources indicate Tennessee is a legitimate threat. I believe Austin Price has a percentage a little bit over 50% for Tennessee to flip him. He's already taken his official to Miami, Texas A&M, obviously at Tennessee this past weekend, but most recently on Twitter, he was supposed to be at Alabama today. Alabama, that visit was canceled. He did not take that visit, and it was because of NIL. Are they not willing to pay? So how much is Tristan Keys asking for? Let's take a look at this clip from Josh Newberg, and it's Tristan Keys talking about NIL. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, it's a big part when it comes to money and development. Of course, I'll take development first because, we're trying to get to that big money, which is the NFL. So I say I'm breaking down like this. When it comes to 700 to 7 figures and the production is there with the 700, I would take that because of I want to be ready and prepared for the next level as fast as possible. So yeah, development is number 1 for me for sure.
Right. So he's talking about the balance between development and the balance between NIL and what's better for him long term. And what is Tennessee selling him on? Are they selling him on development? Are they showing him film from last season where Josh Heupel is scheming guys wide open, they're running free? Now you just need a quarterback to throw you the football, and now you're selling him on Faison Brandon throwing him the football. But how much is Tennessee willing to pay? Because a lot of times I see it every single day in the comment section. I see it every single day on social media. All these kids want is money. It's all about money. It's only about money. I encourage you to go back and watch the interview last night with Colton Hood. When we're talking about playing for Coach Prime, there's more to it than money. You got to be the right fit. You got to be comfortable. The culture matters. But guess what? Money also matters. So when he's talking about 700,000 or he's talking about 7 figures, is Tennessee willing to match that if that's what LSU is willing to pay for the number 1 ranked wide receiver in the country? How much NIL money does Tennessee have? A lot of people want to put out the narrative that Tennessee is broke. I don't believe that. I don't buy into that. We've got Faison Brandon, the number 1 ranked quarterback in the country. You've got Big Squish, Gabriel Ascenda, a 5-star offensive tackle. You landed David Sanders. You got Lance Hurd in the transfer portal. You kept Boo Carter. You kept Arian Carter. You kept Ricky Gibson. I think Tennessee has the money. How much are they willing to spend? Now, it's also important about the quarterback position. I saw shout out Dylan in the chat. Dylan's nervous. Dylan doesn't believe that we can flip Tristan Keys. Why? Because of this clip right here.
You feel me? Get out there. Try to do a little bit of recruiting, get some guys because we got to build a class up. But I'm looking to enjoy my time there, have fun with the guys as far as the recruits, the players, and just leave with a W weekend.
Yeah. What's your relationship like with Jabari Mack and Kenny Darby, the 2 LSU wide receiver commits besides yourself?
I say we got a pretty good relationship. When we go down together, we get a little work in, have fun, talk to each other. I say just bond. I feel like we got a great bond. We get around each other. We kind of are in sync. We all some great at what we do. And look, the sky's the limit for us. So yeah, I feel like our relationship pretty good.
All right. Now, the only thing this class really needs, the number 2 ranked class in America, it needs a quarterback.
Guess who has a quarterback? That's Tennessee. That's 5-star quarterback Faison Brandon, the number 1 ranked quarterback in the country, depending on where you look at. Tennessee has that. So, Dylan, I get it. You're nervous. He's talking about peer recruiting. He's going to be taking his last official visit to LSU this upcoming weekend. But guess what? If you ask him about his relationship with Faison Brandon, I think it's pretty good. You ask him about his relationship with Braylon Staley, I think it's pretty good. So, I think this one's going to play out a lot like the David Sanders commitment. It's going to go down to the wire. Tennessee is going to keep recruiting. Yes, official visits are huge. Official visits are important, but this thing is going to go down to the wire. The question is, how much is Tennessee willing to spend, and how much is it development, scheme, fit, relationships, culture? There is more to it than money, but money is definitely a factor. What are your thoughts? Jump in the comment section. Let's talk about it. As always, smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. I would greatly appreciate it. You can go check out the Talkin VAWLS merchandise, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. You can also support this channel by hitting the join button right down there below. You can do it for just $1 a month. Your support means the world to us. There are links in the description below where you can do both of those things. But that is going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.